Hey everybody, welcome to a new video, and today I actually want to talk about one of my favorite games on the PS3. This game is called Hydrophobia Prophecy. This is a survival horror game that not a lot of people know about. So a little history with the game. It actually was an Xbox 360 exclusive on their live service, and that version got updated to a version called Hydrophobia Pure. You call it the like 1.5 version of the game in a way. And then later on they ported the game to Steam, and they also put it on the PS3, which is the version I'm showing you here. So being a survival horror game, this is a bit different from what people will probably think survival horror. Usually they think about like zombies and stuff like that, or just a crazy monster or whatnot. This game, you're actually dealing with water in a bad situation. It gets pretty intense, and then also, like in some part of the game, you actually go against terrorists. So you're trying to survive and get out of a bad situation, but during the game, it just seems like it's only getting worse. So just a little bit about the main character. Kate Wilson is a systems engineer. She works aboard this ship, and in her past, something traumatic happened to her. You know, somebody passed away, and it's kind of affected her character. And I'm not saying she's a bad person or nothing like that, but you know, she just has like her demons pretty much. So you'll notice that during the game. She's kind of like one of those folks that actually like works on their day off or whatnot, or puts themselves on call, so even on their day off they'll probably get called into work. Workaholic pretty much. Now when you start the game out, you start off in Kate's apartment. You can look outside, there's a festival going on, and her apartment is actually really tight. If you look around it, you can kind of discover like certain information about her past and stuff like that. But once you leave the apartment, the game pretty much takes off, and it takes off with a freaking bomb. And if you survive that situation, you start to realize what's going on around you and how bad things are getting. Now, graphically, I feel like the game was ahead of its time when it came out. You know, the water effects were really well done. It just felt like, you know, like the water really kind of justifies how you play the game, depending on what kind of flooded area you're in. So the water can work against you, or it can work with you, which is nice. And that comes in later when you go against enemies, pretty much. Now, the majority of the game takes place on a ship that's being damaged and whatnot. And, you know, it's hard to kind of like graphically like describe it in a way. You know, there's lots of explosions going on, you know, stuff falling apart. You know, like I said, I feel like it was ahead of its time during the time. And it still looks good today, but you're not gonna be seeing like anything like something really beautiful in the game or whatnot. You know, just what you see here is done well for the time, and probably it still looks good today. So going into the sound of the game, there's not really like much music or anything like that. I mean, there's some, but it's like very subtle. And most of the stuff is like sound effects and stuff like that. So you have a navigator named Scoot. He's actually your boss, and he's trying to get you out of the situation. So you'll never really get lost in the game, because you'll always have waypoints that'll direct you where you need to go. So the action is always like, you can always move forward pretty much. Now the controls are kind of a mixed bag for me now, because though I feel the controls are good, it's just like the situation you're in, like with the water and everything, you're always getting like flushed around pretty much, and it's hard to know how to control certain points, you know. But for the most part, I think people will get used to it. You know, it's not hard, but it's just the situation you're in, like, you know, exploding ship, floods going on, you're being pushed around, and you're trying to do certain stuff, and you might get knocked down from water or something exploding. But I think overall, the controls are good, but they could have used a little bit of polish. Now, what you're probably asking is this game worth your time? I wouldn't be talking about it if I didn't think it was worth your time. I consider myself a survival horror enthusiast. I love survival horror games, survivor adventure games, whatever you want to call them. And I think this game is very hidden in that community. Unfortunately, a little history about the game. It was actually supposed to be, I believe, a trilogy of games. And unfortunately, the company who made the game went under, and they had to sell the rights to it or sell off the assets. So the company I think it's owned by a company called PopCap or something like that now. I could be wrong about that. You guys will have to look it up. But you can see what they were trying to create with this game, and I think what they would have initially got like out there, if they were able to complete the game like they wanted to, the trilogy, is something really good. Now, even though we never got the full trilogy, I do have some good news for you guys. The game only costs $2 on the PlayStation 3 network, so I think that's at least a good deal. And the game, well, it will take you probably around, it has 3 acts. It'll probably take you around your first time playing the game, probably maybe around 4 hours at the most, and that's if you don't know what you're doing. So this, I think, is a good game that you people should try out. There is a version on the 360, which is kind of like the before version. I don't know if people want to play that one. I don't know if it's still available on the Xbox Live. You guys will have to let me know. But the game is available on Steam, so you can get it on Steam. I don't know how much it costs on Steam, but you know, buying a game for $2 is pretty low risk. So anyways, guys, I'm going to leave you with some more game footage. Let me know what you think about the game in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.
Oh,